Welcome to Uganda Catholic Television, Good News for All. And in a very special way, I welcome you to Responsible Citizenship series brought to you by Dr. Kiiza, Emmanuel Aliba, the National Executive Secretary of the Justice and Peace Department of the Uganda Episcopal Conference. I'm happy to be with you again to reflect on how our faith should make us good citizens in society. On what we believe in should be changing us daily so that wherever we go, the flag of Christ is always recognized that this person is a Christian, this person is a Catholic. Whatever we do, wherever we are, and in whatever we are doing, we reflect the Christ himself, who signed us with a mark that we are Christians. Last time, we were dealing with work. From work, we concentrated on leisure. Now we come with another very important topic in society, and that is responsible leadership. It's very difficult to have responsible citizens without responsible leaders. Let's today look at exactly what is leadership in society, what is the value of leadership in society, and what kind of leadership do we need in our country, in society. Leadership is the ability to influence and motivate people to do things that they may not have done otherwise. The ability to motivate people. It's not so much the power. Leadership is not so much the power, but it is the ability to motivate people to achieve a given purpose. Leadership is to empower others achieve a given goal, empowering others. It is the translation of intentions into reality. We all have intentions. Organizations have goals, but how do we transform those goals into reality? We need responsible leadership. Leadership, that's the art of that translation of goals into reality. Leadership is also aligning people's energies to achieve a goal. You know, people have different energies, but we have to align them together so that we achieve a purpose for the organization, a purpose for society. You know, so we have to align those goals, and it is through leadership that these energies are aligned. Leadership is also enabling people to use their own initiatives and experiences towards achieving a goal. People are very dynamic. People are creative. But we have to use these innovations, their creativity, so that we achieve a goal. So leadership tries to bring people's creativity, bring people's experiences together so that we achieve a goal for the organizations. Leadership also provides guidance and inspiration. You know, guidance and inspiration to, and the other one, leadership also provides a motivation so that we achieve a goal. Those three words are very important: guidance, inspiration, and motivation. So for you leaders who are out there, if you are not able to provide guidance, you are not able to provide inspiration, you are not able to provide motivation in any organization, then ask the credibility of your leadership styles. Like when people look at you as a leader, They see somebody who is able to provide guidance, who is able to provide inspiration, who is able to provide motivation so that the organization's goals are achieved faster. Leaders help to create a vision and rally behind people for a common cause. So leaders, to be visionary, you have to think ahead. You have to have, you think faster than the people you are leading, so that by the time they reach where you are, you have already taken them to another level, because you have, the leader has to have that ability to think, to create a vision and people to achieve that vision. Leaders possess the necessary skills and knowledge to make informed decisions and solve problems effectively. Making informed decisions, not rushing on making decisions, and also not going too slow in making decisions. So a leader, a responsible leader, is that person who takes his time so that he's able to make an informed decision. You know, the decisions that we make every day, we must have to be informed. You must have the necessary knowledge. You must have the necessary experience to make these decisions. Otherwise, a decision that you make without necessary knowledge of any issue that you are handling may cause a problem to the organization. Without strong leadership, achieving success on both as an individual and organizations would be very difficult. So therefore, healthy, effective, and motivational leadership is essential for managing the organization. Now, within all this, I can summarize and say, a leader of any organization, in any organization, in any department, you need to number one, think strategically. This one we have all to agree that if I am leading a department, I am leading any section of people, I'm leading an organization, the first thing is think strategically. Think, you know, there are many possibilities out there, but to turn them into reality, you need to think strategically. The second thing is manage effectively. There are many things that are interplaying in the organization. Human resource, finance, and you know, welfare, and you know, there are very many things that come to your table as a leader, but we have to manage all of them effectively. And the third one is to communicate clearly. Clear communication, you know, to ensure that the communication chain is well laid out in the organization. Who reports to who and when? Who does what? You know, so we have to communicate clearly so that right from the CEO, if you are communicating a message, it goes direct to the front desk without any alteration of that message. So we have to communicate clearly. Now, let us look at what is the importance of leadership today. Do we need leadership in society? Do we need leadership in organization? I want all of you to agree with me that without leadership, there would be anarchy in society. So wherever you are, where you find, you know, where you find two or more people, you know, and they are keeping together, there should be some form of leadership somewhere. And once we don't realize the presence of leadership, that's when you hear things are not going on well. For example, in families, in families there is a lack of leadership, we are able to tell that in this family, I think the problem is leadership. Because in every entity of society, there must be leadership. This is why we always tell our parents, we say, please give time to your family. Because your presence alone as a father, your presence alone as a mother provides leadership to the family. Even if you don't say anything, but you are there. I really encourage parents, try when you are seeking for your annual leave, try to get that leave when your children are for holidays. Like they have the long holidays in December. How I wish many of you can apply for your holidays, for your annual leave at work in December, whereby you stay with the children. They feel your presence. They, you know, somewhere COVID has a very bad implication. But also there are some lessons to learn during COVID. One of the things I liked with COVID is to bring us home. We were brought home. Like it or not, I remember in many organizations, they closed down. Every worker was freezed, and His Excellency, the President, was telling us, stay at home. Be at home. I think I also was one of those that benefited so much by staying at home. Because there was no time literally to stay at home. But COVID brought me back home. So you know, being at home with your family, being there, being present, that's what the leader does, to be there. You know, the CEO in an organization may not be doing a lot of work on his desk. You know, maybe actually solving problems outside there on his desk, at his desk. But by being there, the entire organization is okay. Why? He is there. He is around. So being around as a leader, being there. So leaders facilitate effective communication among staff, among people whom they are leading. Once there is no effective communication in any society, in any organization, believe you me, things will not run well. We need to establish that we are communicating effectively. Leaders create better work environment. My dear people who are watching Uganda Catholic Television, good news for all. The issue of having a good work environment is key in increasing the output. I think somebody said it, that when you are working in a good and familiar and welcoming environment, the output is much more than when someone works in a harsh environment. Let's put a good environment for our staff to work. You know, you cannot, as I told you last time, a member of staff is, you are looking at him or her as the staff of your organization. But always leaders have to put it in their heads that this staff here is a father or is a mother to children whom he or she has left home. This staff here has got also responsibilities that he is or she is a son or a daughter of a parent. So there is that responsibility. But this staff I'm seeing is also a husband to a wife or a wife to a husband. Those are all responsibilities and many other responsibilities. Sometimes this person I see before me has a certain faith where he belongs or she belongs. She on Sunday, and there are some implications. Possibly he is or she is a choir member of a certain, church and so on. Or some of the staff we have are pastors, So as I am managing all these people, I have to remember that what they need is for me to create a good environment so that when they come to the organization, there is less time of thinking about what is happening at home, what is happening in their church. They kind of switch off other responsibilities and they switch on the organizational, the tasks of the day. To do that, they must have a good working environment. Otherwise, you will see somebody in office is working, but actually is not working. He's actually at home solving problems at home. So as leaders, we have to create a good environment for our people to perform to their best. So by creating that environment, you increase the productivity of the staff. You see the staff is highly motivated because the environment is friendly, the environment is familiar, the environment is good. I am the chairman of Uganda Microfinance Support Center. You see me dressed, in our corporate attire. But I like the environment there. When you enter into that organization, you see a welcoming environment. Everyone is busy doing his work, and you find that somebody with a smile. I like such an environment. I wish organizations can work that way, creating friendly environment, creating an environment where someone works to the best of his or her knowledge and ability. Good leadership also decreases mistakes in organizations. In some organizations, a mistake costs a lot. There are some organizations, for example, breweries. These who produce some beers, there are those who produce these sodas and so on. Any slight mistake can cause the company lose a lot of money. I think I remember there was one time somebody who was controlling just a formula of a given beverage ran away. And almost everybody left drinking that kind of drink. Why? Because they were drinking and it was a different drink. Because the formula, the one controlling the formula had gone away. Imagine you lose the entire clientele that you have because of one person. So mistakes can be very costly in organizations. So, but with good leadership, you are able to reduce the mistakes in the organizations. Good leadership also sets a good example for others. Teaching by example is much better than teaching by word. Let people see, and they are able to perform to their best because they know the CEO. This is you have put a standard where everybody knows, I have to be an example. So heads of department, if you are heading a department, this is what we need to ensure. this is what we need to ensure, that we are at the top of it. We ensure we have inspired hard work in an organization. We have set good examples whereby people look at us and they are able to perform. Leaders, as I said, create strong vision and direction for the future. Good leaders focus always on the future. What is in the future? So leaders live today, work today, but they live in the future. You are working today, but your main attribute is you are living in the future. Because once you don't have the future of the organization, then there is no how you inspire others to perform. So finally, good leaders help keep employees focused on reaching an organizational goal. You help keep employees focused in an organization. You know, this is what I said. An employee should enter into an organization and immediately switches off all other things and get focused to the organizational goals. Dear viewers of Uganda Catholic Television, good news for all. This is our first part of leadership. We shall now have a commercial break and come in for the second part, which will be the final part. Keep watching Uganda Catholic Television. Good news for all.
UCTV, good news for all.
Reflecting and talking about good leadership, responsible leadership, and we are looking at the importance of leadership in our organizations. So let's now look at the qualities a good leader should have. The qualities of a responsible leader. How can we tell that so and so is a good leader, so and so is a responsible leader? I will highlight a few of them. Others you can look for them. Now we have our gadgets here, the telephones are there. But the first quality of a good leader is strategic thinker. You have to be a cognitive thinker, a strategic thinker. You have to think strategically. If you have to be a good leader in any society, in any organization, you have to think strategically. You know, it is key to think ahead of time. You know, you say, Jesus said two blind men cannot lead each other. At least a one-eyed man can lead blind men. So you cannot manage to be all blind men, and you lead each other. You need one-eyed, to lead. So a leader thinks strategically. You see ahead of time. You look at things ahead of time so that the people you are leading, they get the way, because it is you to clear that way. Another quality of a good leader is self-awareness. A leader who knows himself or herself. And once you get to know yourself very well, that is where we get self-control. You cannot control yourself if you don't know yourself well. So self-awareness awareness is a very key attribute of a responsible leader. To know your strengths, to know your weaknesses, and you ensure that you lead others, however much you also have some weaknesses here and there, but you are able to lead others. So you have to know yourself, and once you know yourself, you will control yourself. The other attribute of a good leader is to be to have empathy. Leaders have to learn to feel the feelings of others. You have to put yourself in the shoes of others. An employee comes before you, you are the head of department. Is crying, has a problem. First be in his or her shoes. Help her to solve this problem. You have to be empathetic. Even a good leader has to be empathetic. You have to feel for others. You have to be in their shoes so that you can help them, move them a little bit, raise them a little bit higher than the way they are. If I stay with an employee for 5 years and have not added any value onto his or her life, then I am not a good leader. If I'm given an opportunity to have an employee who stays with me for 2 years, 3 years, someone should be much better every year. This is why we put evaluations of staff, so that we evaluate ourselves and see, have I made this staff a better staff than she came in the organization? The other quality of a good leader is a leader must have emotional intelligence. You must have emotional intelligence. Emotions, managing emotions, managing feelings. You must have, you must be a master there. Managing your own feelings, managing your own emotions. You know, shouting, you know, you hear a leader shouting right from the entry. And by the time it goes to the 4th floor, I don't know, it will be shouting louder than, the loudspeaker itself. A leader, you should have emotional balance, emotional intelligence. The other one is, as I already said, the leader has to have an effective way of communicating issues. You must communicate effectively. That's a great quality that you cannot manage to lose. You communicate effectively, so you are understood. You pass clear messages, not vague messages. Sometimes when I'm hearing when some organization is advertising, they say, this is the spirit of Uganda. I say, now, which spirit? Is it the Holy Spirit? The evil spirit? What is this spirit? So when you say the spirit of Uganda, now I don't know whether it is an evil one or it is a holy one. Let's communicate effectively so that these vague messages, the spirit of Uganda, but which spirit, So these vague messages in organizations usually are not good. So leaders have to communicate effectively. The other is we have to have conflict management skills. As a leader, you have to have conflict management skills. One wise man was saying, where you find 2 or more people staying together, and you find them always in agreement, and in everything and every time they are in agreement, just know either one of them is a fool or both are fools, or one of them is mad or both are mad. So he wanted to say that where you find 2 people or more staying together, you always find conflicts. They cannot be in agreement at all times and in everything. They can't. However much you people love each other in families, there is a time when you cannot fit in the same family. Well, either in the bedroom, one has to leave the bedroom to sit in the sitting room, or has to leave the house. There must be some conflict here and there. But then if it is an organization and there are conflicts, in a society there are conflicts. So a leader has to be a good manager of conflicts. You have to have that skill of managing conflicts, because they are bound to happen. You know, somebody say if you want to find the angels on earth, you are mistaken. Just go to heaven, there you'll find the angels. But as long as we are here, there will always be conflicts. The only way we do as leaders is to manage these conflicts. The leader has also to have an ability to work under pressure. I always see my Secretary General, the Secretary General of the Uganda Episcopal Conference. When I see the pressure that he has, here the bishops are calling, we heads of departments are there. There are other, you know, I really sympathize with him. But you find him very strong. Why? He has developed that art of working under pressure. I learn a lot from him. I see also my ED at Uganda Microfinance Support Center. You know, we put a lot of pressures. These are coming from the board, these are coming from management, but you find somebody is balanced. So working, the ability to work under pressure is a good sign of a leader. To work under pressure and you work effectively. So let's, you who are viewing Uganda Catholic Television, let's create that way of working under pressure. Learning to work under pressure. A good leader also is able to solve problems creatively. You are able to, you know, there are things that come to you as a leader, and some you have not prepared them. You are not prepared for them, but they are there. So you have to be very creative in thinking and in problem solving. This comes, you are able to, you know, to get a good prescription of this matter here. You know, you have to be on top of matters that come around your way. You have to have that ability to solve problems creatively. Good leaders also have the ability to make difficult decisions. That is very important. The ability to make difficult decisions. Leaders are not populists. Good leaders are not populists. Say, this is the man. No. There is a time when you have to take a decision in the interest of society, in the interest of the organization, a decision that is a little bit painful. This one you have to take it as a leader. So leaders have to have the ability to take difficult decisions in the interest of society, in the interest of the people you are leading. And the other one is, of course, always to be a strategic thinker. Always to see ahead of time. Always to, you know, to focus. Have a right focus so that your organization can benefit from you. Now, let's briefly also look at the sources of leadership. Where do we get leadership from? Of course, the first one is charismatic. You can say leadership by trust. Somebody comes up and, you know, he doesn't have a lot of information, but he's a charismatic leader. He's there. People trust him, you know, and he's leading society. So trust can make you a leader. And the other one is by election. Election. People vote for you. That one I have not yet managed to go in for election. So I can only say a few words about it. So you can be a leader by election. People give you votes. I think I'm one of those who would not get a lot of votes, because usually in election there are a few things that you tell, I will build you a road here, but if I don't have money, I cannot say I'll build you a road. Possibly I say I will build you a well instead of a road. But anyway, those are, we get also leadership through election. We also get leadership through delegation. So I can delegate my son, you go and represent me here. I can delegate somebody, say, you know, one time the bishops of Uganda delegated me to go to Rome to represent the church here. I felt quite, it was very interesting, because I'm not a bishop, I'm not a priest, I'm just a layman, very simple layman, but here I've gone to represent the bishops of Uganda in Rome. I felt a little bit big. We were celebrating an anniversary of the Pope's encyclical Laudato Si. So I went to represent the bishops of Uganda. I felt very good, you know, but it is also a responsibility whereby you have to behave in a given way, because you have been delegated. When you are performing a delegated function, it's not an easy thing. One big thing I did, the Bishop of Hoima delegated some powers to me to prepare the pilgrimage at Namugongo when Hoima was leading. I was the overall chairman. So I was doing a delegated function. This function was not by me. The function was for the bishop, but he delegated and said, you chair. You know, so when I was performing whatever I was doing, I was always thinking, now how would the bishop do it if he was here in my chair where I am? So I was always thinking about somebody who has delegated me. So leadership can also come through delegation, and you are delegated and you perform. Here we have in our church, we say leadership can also come through ordination. You are ordained, like we have Catholic priests, like the head of this communication, Father Philip D. If I want to know him, I have to trace who ordained him. Then I have to trace also who ordained that person who ordained him. Then I continue tracing who ordained that person, who ordained this one, who ordained, until I reach the source with Jesus Christ. Yeah? Jesus Christ left the keys to Peter. He ordained Peter. Peter, you know, left until I reached, you know, that ordination. I have to trace it up to the source of ordination, who is Jesus. So some people get their leadership through ordination. They are ordained. Others get their leadership through education. You are educated. You are a doctor, a medical doctor. So you lead people there because you are a professional. So I would like to quickly now look at how have we misused leadership. The misuse of leadership is there. It is there. People have misused leadership. For example, there are people who have not been faithful to professional ethics. Every profession has got ethics. So if you have not been faithful to the professional ethics of your profession, then you have misused leadership. There are those who have broken the organizational codes of conduct. In every organization, wherever you go, there is a code of conduct which is supposed to guide you daily. In whatever you do, there is a code of conduct, but people have not paid attention to it. So that one, you have misused leadership because of not paying attention to the organizational code of conduct. Some of our leaders have been really dictators. You don't want any other. When you come, you are the only bull in the corral. You know, everybody should worship you. So when you enter the organization, you are worshipped by, everybody. Even the walking changes because you are a leader. That is misuse of leadership by being a dictator. There are people who have put in, they are proud and some arrogance. You see somebody is very arrogant because he has been promoted a little bit, and then abagamba toyagala kumanya. You don't want to know whatever is, because you have been promoted now to. So actually, the more you are promoted, the more humble you should become. So the arrogance should never appear behind one who is a leader. People have also abused the leadership in corruption, in bribery, in nepotism. That is an abuse of leadership. How can you be corrupt? Because you want to use your office to gain for yourself. Everything you amass wealth for yourself. Everything you want it for yourself. That's corruption. That's a misuse of leadership. Then there are people who have been found with sectarian tendencies, sectarianism. Everything good for me, I come from Bunyoro. So everything good, I want to go to Bunyoro. But Bunyoro, people in Karamoja are Ugandans. People in Kabale are Ugandans. Why can't I, this tendency of sectarian, being a sectarian, is a pure abuse of leadership. Then in leadership, we also abuse leadership through dishonesty. Once you are not honest, you abuse leadership. You are given resources for the department, but you turn the resources to your family, to yourself. But these resources are supposed to run a department. I have delegated you to go for activities in the field. Then you bring fake accountabilities. But I've told you to go and lead people there, train them. After that, come back, account to zero. You bring fake accountabilities. That is being dishonest, and it is abuse of leadership. Then always to think subjectively vis-a-vis objectivity. As a leader, I have always to be objective. In whichever decision I take, I have always to be objective. Otherwise, if I always center everything around me, I am the only one, then we abuse leadership. The other one, where we abuse leadership, is taking rushed decisions. To take a decision in a rush. Why do you rush? Be simple, be calm. The world is not ending today. Take decisions from an informed background. The last one I want to bring you as a misuse of leadership is acting under the influence of anything, of drugs. Or a leader has always to be sober. Sobriety in leadership is key. A good leader cannot act on, on an influence of drug or alcohol. No. Sobriety, we have to be sober whenever we are taking decisions. Fellow, those of you who are watching Uganda Catholic Television, good news for all. I would like to thank you for always loving this, our television, which is bringing us good news. And thank you for loving our program, Responsible Citizenship. We shall come next week with another program in this series of Responsible Citizenship, and wish that you enjoy these programs, because we are intending to ensure that we live our faith. We practice what we believe in. This is the entire program of responsible citizenship. I wish you all the best in your work, in your families, in your places of leisure. I wish you all the best until we meet next week. Thank you for watching Uganda Catholic Television. Good news for all.